この海藻の場合は石灰水につけることが必要だったはずです。
はけHi there everyone, Lars back with another Apothecary Diaries review brought to you by Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast by novice writers for novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And oh boy, what turned out at first to be just this really sweet, nice, another mystery-solving episode changed at the drop of a hat, or really more at the drop-by of one monocled strategist, Mr. Lakan. Yep, Mr. Monocle is back once again with some highly disturbing hints being dropped, which I'm going to get into and why this is really important. Not just because we've probably just seen Maomao's mom in this episode, but because we're going to get some hints as to what has really been happening now behind the scenes and get some rather disturbing hints again at who the individual might be that Maomao visited over at the brothel and why she's there. So like I said, this episode starts off really kind of sweet and fun as per usual, with people being like, oh, there's a mystery that must be solved. Maomao, Detective Maomao, it is up to you to solve this case. And what I really liked is that this time it's Gaoshin who reaches out to Maomao. And I really like their interaction because it shows, for one thing, how much Maomao respects Gaoshin and how much he appreciates her. What's really neat is just seeing how effective, how knowledgeable this guy is. Holy cow, I want to know his story. And I think that if you were to make this whole show like buddy cops, whatnot, like we're going out into the beat, we're going to solve some sort of case, Gaoshin would be like the really old cop who's getting ready to retire, who's hanging out with the rookie Maomao, and is just like totally calm, cool, and collected, can shoot straight at no problem whatsoever. And Maomao's the really crazy Mel Gibson type character who's just causing all sorts of problems, but gets her man at the end of the day and always solves the case. But getting back to it, Gaoshin wants Maomao to investigate the potential poisoning of a particular governmental official. Everyone believes that he was poisoned thanks to eating some uncured raw pufferfish. And Gaoshin and Maomao go actually step by step through, well, what could have been. What did the cook say? What kind of evidence is there that pufferfish was misprepared for this particular individual and served to him? And then she gets permission, thanks to Gaoshin, to go out with another official and sweep the place for clues, which leads her then to some suspicious seaweed that is out of season. And then Maomao is able to perform an experiment and see that, yes, this seaweed right here should actually be poisonous unless properly prepared ahead of time, and that the younger brother of said governmental official, who is now in a coma, was the one responsible for the poisoning of his older brother because he felt that he was underappreciated, and he overheard, very coincidentally, sweet serendipitously, that, hey, there is a kind of seaweed that, if not prepared correctly at the right time, will induce a form of poisoning, and none will be the wiser. Hey, I heard this at a bar. This sounds like a great thing I should implement in my own personal life. Listen, kids, strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government, and neither is going to a bar and listening to weird drunks telling you about poisons a good idea for solving family issues. In any case, this mystery runs rather smoothly. Things are going super well for Maomao. The best part about this particular setup right here is that we get Jinshi coming in like a teenager who's just like, ooh, I want to be part of what the cool kids are doing, and keeps trying to insert himself into the drama, into the conversations. He is completely missing the context. He's not picking up the clues, and Maomao is totally tearing into him through her wit, and I freaking love it. I also love how he's there for when she's going to conduct the experiment of which seaweed is poisonous, and how he forces her to just barf it all up. It was perfect, peak good comedy for this particular story, and we just get more of what we love from Maomao. What I really enjoy is, again, the deepening of the relationship between her and Gaoshin. Gaoshin is, again, just a fantastic character, and it's great seeing him kind of take the lead and really kind of flex his own muscles, as it were, to show that he is, in a way, a powerhouse here at the palace. He is smart, he is well connected, he is efficient, he is quick. This is the kind of guy that you do want to have in charge, which then, by comparison, again, kind of like, why then is Jinshi so popular, so powerful, so well connected? The continuing mysteries of Jinshi's true identity and what he's after. Now then, all of that fun fluffiness is interrupted by Lakan, this chief strategist, who is particularly known for his obsession with shogi, go, and rumors. And you can already tell that this guy right here is all about the long con. Not just because, hey, he's a huge fan of strategy and shogi and go, but this guy comes on in pretending to be a drunk. There he is drinking. However, if you notice, he is only lightly sipping his drink as he's going along. He is putting on a show, trying to get people to underestimate him, open up to him, so that way he can gather information, which then he can play them like little stones on his board. And we even see Jinshi realizing that he kind of slips up and makes a mistake, further falling into a more elaborate trap that Lakan is setting. From what we can kind of start piecing together of what we've seen of different scenes and everything, this is the guy who's probably been the one going around to all of the different drinking areas, all the different bars, hanging out with all the soldiers, and just dropping little random hints that have led to all kinds of horrible things happening. In this particular case, a government official getting poisoned by his younger brother because, hey, did you know that a certain seaweed, if not prepared correctly, will be poisonous, and if you get it out of season from such and such guy, no one's going to be the wiser. And let me just sip my sake and everything's going to be totally fine. So it seems as though Lakan, Mr. Monocle, has a really good alibi for everything he's been doing. Hey, I was just drinking and talking at a bar. No, I had no idea that someone was going to pick up on some random little factoid that I dropped while talking to myself. No way! No one's going to think that that's actually what really caused such and such crimes to happen. Or I could go into a bar completely anonymous, I can take off my monocle, I can wash up a little bit, and I would look totally different. This guy easily can hide in a crowd if he wants to, or he can go to a place where no one's going to recognize him or really pay much attention to him, and then do his little tricks and schemes. The thing is that he's doing all of this, as we begin to realize, because he wants Maomao to be a part of some sort of scheme that he is playing. To what end, we're not exactly sure just yet, and that's actually what I want to get to. While we might not yet know Lakan's end game, one of the things that we can already gather from his really creepy talk with Jinshi about a courtesan that he once knew, oh boy, this guy is a little bit of a social monster. And he reminds me a lot of various people that I've met throughout my life who like to experiment on people and play games with them by socially positioning them to do certain things that they think would be interesting or that would be detrimental to the other person. And we absolutely get a hint about this when he opens up about how there was this absolutely beautiful courtesan who wasn't just pretty, but oh boy, she was intelligent. She could actually beat me at games, which I found sexy. But on top of that, she had an unconquerable spirit. She was just so haughty, looking down on me, and I wanted her, and even says that he was willing to force himself on her. Really creepy guy right here. Definitely a stand-up citizen. But then he also talks about how he would want to buy her, but at the time he did not make enough money to purchase her, and she had caught the eye of someone else, and so there would be a bidding war for her. Maybe not just for her virginity, but to completely buy out her contract and take her on home, make her a wife. There was no way that he could win. So how was he going to bring down the price? He was going to do something dastardly. But if Jinshi wants that information, if the viewers want that information, then you're going to have to play a game with me, Jinshi, and you're going to have to ante up your little servant girl, Maomao. This guy is giving me absolutely the creeps, and not just because of the things that he said and the way that he looks, but again, like I said, he reminds me of a lot of people that I have met throughout my time who have tried to pull these kinds of stunts, and they are actually very dangerous individuals. People who will, by dropping certain rumors here and there, spreading truths, but twisting them in such a way through the omissions of the rest of the truth, or with a little lie here and there, can absolutely destroy the reputations of otherwise stand-up individuals. This is something I brought up to my students when I was teaching in high school. I said many times, look, and I've seen this happen so often, if you want to destroy a girl, you just simply start calling her a slut, and you get as many people as possible to believe that until she herself believes that she's a slut, and then she proceeds to destroy herself. And the saddest thing was is that whenever I brought that up within various contexts, I could see the students in my classroom who were stung with shame because they had done that exact thing to someone else. That is despicable right there. And I myself, when I was in college, was on the receiving end of such social manipulations. And I will admit, though definitely not to the same extent as some of these people, or as Lakan, I did that as well. Hey, I'm going to spread a little rumor about someone here or there, place some doubt into someone so that way I can get this person out of my life or tarnish them because they're annoying me. It is a horrible thing to do. It's a blight on my own personal record, and really, it's not okay. Now, why do I bring that up? Why do I even throw myself under the bus? Well, because as someone who's experienced this, as someone who low-key did this at one point in high school myself, well, here's the thing. The only way that you can truly defeat such despicable individuals is that you have to learn what their goal is. And usually, a lot of the time, the goal of such despicable people who are using grandiose machinations of maneuvering all these different people is to know what it is that they're after. It's usually a very simple thing or a very simple person, and once you know what that is, you can completely flip the tables on them and turn all of their schemes against them and absolutely destroy all of their preparations and totally destroy their reputation in turn. Now then, this is where things are going to be really interesting because this comes down to a difference of knowing and understanding. A little bit of semantics right here. It's very easy to know about people. And in fact, it's also very easy to know someone, to know facts about them. Even people in our lives. We know a lot about people, but how often do we understand the people that we know? Understanding people is what we gain by truly getting to know them. Not just simply know factoids, but know what motivates them. What do they love? What do they like? What is their personality really like when they're out of the limelight and they can just be themselves? Lakan is someone who actually strikes me more as someone who knows factoids about people, whereas Maomao, on the other hand, is someone who seeks to understand others. And we have seen this in how she has treated most of the mysteries that she's come up against, and how she brings up how she gets this feeling of unease and how it usually points her in the right direction. Lakan is someone who has all this information at his fingertips. He is someone who can manipulate all these different people, but I doubt that Lakan truly has an understanding of other people. Just because you know something doesn't mean that you understand it. Maomao, on the other hand, has shown herself to be someone who doesn't always know everything, and there's especially things that she doesn't know about people, and it causes her to have some misunderstandings, but she is someone who seeks out understanding. The mind games that are about to play out between Maomao and Lakan are going to be very interesting because Lakan is someone who is in an absolute position of power with so much knowledge and the influence to act upon that knowledge. Maomao is a servant, but someone who can read people far better, I think, than Lakan ever could, which is why Lakan was obsessed with the idea that a mere courtesan could defeat him in a game of shogi. And to wrap up all of that right there, the reason why I feel like this is going to lead us to that it's Maomao's mother that we saw back at the brothel who was just completely destroyed, it's because Lakan, with whatever he did, his actions led to the destruction of Maomao's mother's body, mind, and reputation, leaving her just basically a husk of herself that the other women of the brothel, out of the goodness of their hearts and because they love her, continue to take care of her despite everything that's been done to her. Because as we've seen from previous episodes, the women of the red light district watch out for each other. They take care of each other, they will fight back tooth and nail and beyond for their sisters in arms against any man who tries to screw them over. Lakan is someone who would easily, though, be out of their reach because he's not someone who frequents the red light district. He only came because he was interested in a particular courtesan. Now that his games are done, he has receded away into the palace, away from their influence. This could be a moment of revenge right here for the red light district, finally coming back to catch up with Lakan in as many machinations as he finds interest in Maomao, with whom he might see there's another green-haired girl, very intelligent. I hear all kinds of things, and she has a connection to the house. Could this be the daughter of the courtesan that I was in love with? This could be my next great game! The despicable cad. Now then, what can we as novice authors learn from what we see here in this episode? What kind of writing advice is there? I think one of the best things to really pull on out is that we can already tell how despicable Lakan is as an individual without having the entire story spelled out for us. A lot of the stuff I've just said is kind of conjecture and bringing together all these different clues throughout all the episodes that we've seen. We get just one concrete scene with him where we get to hear him speak, and he's not divulging his plans. He's not telling Jinshi, and this is the kind of horrible man that I am. Instead, it is all based on context. One of the best ways that you can make a villain truly feel horrible, despicable, intelligent is based on context. If someone just says they're smart, they're evil, they are brilliant, they are untouchable, when someone says it, true, it's a statement and you can take that statement as fact, but it's not as powerful as the reader or the viewer experiencing for themselves the villain being villainous. And that is based on context. Let the context speak for itself. And I'll be honest, it's really not that easy. It sounds easy. You're like, oh yeah, be a little bit vague, have a standoff right here, have the villain project power or knowledge that the heroes don't have, blah, 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 blah. It's actually way harder than you think because either you're overplaying your hand as the author or you're being so vague that you lose the audience. Striking the balance is difficult and is a matter of practice and time and refining that process. So, those are my insights, that's my review, those are my little brief theories on what is going on, and that is my public confession. It's one of those things where people are like, dude, never talk about your darker past online. People are going to hold that against you for the rest of your life. Well, you know what? I just put that on out there. I'm someone who believes in redemption. It's been over 17 years since any of that stuff happened. I have moved on and I have eaten my humility pie and I've been on the receiving end of such horrible things where I've realized, yeah, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to get involved with such people again because that was awful and I feel really bad. So we're moving on. And if there's any one thing that I do believe in, it is redemption. It is possible. Might be a really long road for some people, but anyway, Lakan, I believe that you can be redeemed. You're just going to have to spend the rest of your life making it up to Maomao and her mom. Anyway, before I start to implicate myself in the theft of the Mona Lisa, oops, I'm going to sign off right here. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible adventure that we call writing. If you'd like to support everything that we do here at Camille's Harem, you can check out the books that we've published. They're in the description below. But otherwise, you just simply watching us, commenting, liking, and subscribing if you haven't already done so just means the world to us already. So thank you so much. And until the next video, y'all, choose.
おかえりなさいませ。おかえりなさいませ。よし、忘れよう。思い出してもろくなことにならない。